With more on that story about what's happening outside the offices of the United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights in Pretoria, that protest there. Ofense, good evening to you. What is the situation there? What exactly is the United Nations asking police to do?
Well, thank you very much. Basically, the United Nations was saying that the police shouldn't be too heavily handed when dealing with some of these refugees. As you know, most of them, or some of them, actually fled their countries without any documents. So it's actually very difficult to prove as to where they are from and why they are here. So they were saying that they should be very easygoing and not be too hard on those that are in the streets outside the UNHCR premises here in Pretoria and the one in Cape Town. And they also urged those refugees that are actually camping outside the premises to not use the women and children as their shield, especially when there's a scuffle with the police, because they believe that amounts to a human rights abuse and it amounts to women and children abuse.
So, I mean, I presume the people in Pretoria saw what happened to the people in Cape Town yesterday, and I presume that what happened in Cape Town has disturbed the people in Pretoria quite dramatically.
It actually did, especially the scene where the two female officers are trying to take a baby from a mother who was actually lying down there, really struggling, trying to hold the baby against the police. So most of them were actually moved by that, and they feel that xenophobia is actually institutionalized, because they say they go to hospitals, they are told, go back to your country where you'll get treatment. At schools, their children can't be accepted because they don't have the documentation. In fact, the refugees were saying they run the risk of being undocumented because some gave birth the moment they arrived here in South Africa, but the Home Affairs Department is actually failing to give them the right documentation so that they can access basic services.
So these refugees, they want the United Nations to actually move them to other countries. So they say where they want to go. The United Nations, it seems, is not going to do this.
The United Nations says they are willing and eager to repatriate anyone that wants to leave the country and feel unsafe. But in order to relocate them to another country, which is not their country of origin, it's a bit tricky, because they're supposed to be a country that's willing to accept some of these guys if they want to go there. But now the issue as well is their protest that they are having outside the UNHCR is actually hampering their opportunities to actually be admitted in other countries. This was said by the head of the United Nations here in South Africa.
Difficult situation on the ground there, Ofense, and you've got local residents as well who've gone to court. It sounds like things are building up a little bit.
Yes, it's actually quite tense, because now the city of Tshwane has appealed to the Home Affairs Department, to the Department of Police, and to the Department of International Relations to say this is what they are responsible to do. The borders fall within their departments. Keeping people safe falls within the police, and also dealing with international arrivals also is DERCO's responsibility. So the city of Tshwane mayor was saying that it's unfair for them to try to tackle the situation after the residents of Brooklyn and Pretoria East filed a complaint saying that the situation on the ground is not conducive for them to live there. So they want the city of Tshwane to exercise their bylaws and to evict the people that are staying outside the UNHCR premises.
Ofense Satimo, thank you very much indeed for that.